residents of the space station. I really hope this works because every time lately I've been trying to record a spoopy video, my computer just screws up. I don't know what the issue is, I don't know why it happens. But it's very, very aggravating. So I'm hoping this will work. I can already tell my model's having some issues, but I don't know. So today we're going to be playing Dagon. Dagonit. I don't know how to pronounce it exactly. It's not Dagonit, that's for sure. But I was trying to make a joke there, but I'm pretty sure that didn't work. But yeah, so Dagon or Dagon, I don't know. It looked scary. Looks really good, I think. My computer is having a little bit of trouble today, and my internet's out again. So, oh. Hey, it's loaded. Alright, so I didn't read anything about this game. Let me turn down the sound a little bit in OBS. It's pretty loud, I think. It was louder than me for a second, it seems, at least in OBS. But hopefully you guys can still hear it. But, yeah. So, I got it on recommendation from another friend of mine. So, let's see if it's as good as I heard. Let's check the options first. Alright. Voiceovers, I'm going to turn the sounds down a bit. Camera sensitivity, text size, seems good. Alright. Trivia, what's in trivia? Oh, okay. Ooh, it's like lore? Alright, let's go in. Dagon is a faithful interactive adaptation of H.P. Lovecraft's work, focused on story and atmosphere. You will not find difficult choices, action sequences, or inventory management here, and movement is limited to progressing through locations along with the plot. Alright.
I am writing this under an appreciable mental strain, since by tonight I shall be no more.
Shall be no more. Are you dying? Oh. During the game, you will encounter interactive elements. Some of them will allow you to continue your journey. Others reveal interesting facts about the original short story, its historical background, and the author. Some of the trivia is hidden. In order to find these secrets, focus your eyes and look for the Elder Sign. That's the Elder Sign. Okay. You can also access all the found facts later. They will be available in the main menu. We saw that. Alright. What's this? I want to look around here. I can't really move. Okay. Oh, okay. Let's try this out.
And at the end of my supply of the drug which alone makes life endurable, I can bear the torture no longer, and shall cast myself from this garret window into the squalid street below.
Please don't.
Do not think from my slavery to morphine that I am a weakling or a degenerate. When you have read these hastily scrawled pages, you may guess, though never fully realize, why it is that I must have forgetfulness or death.
Okay, goddamn. Wait, what's this? Morphine entered into use in the 19th century and was routinely administered to treat severe pain during the American Civil War and World War I. It was sold. It was also sold without restrictions until 1914. Morphine became more popular after the invention of the hypodermic syringe, around 1854. Friedrich Serturner, I don't know that's not pronounce it, who first isolated the substance, originally named it morphium, after Morpheus, the Greek god associated with dreams. At the time when Dagon was published, morphine abuse, known as soldier's disease, already posed a big problem in the United States. I think I read about that somewhere else. I remember there was a visual novel I used to play all the time, where one of the characters was a former morphine addict. It took place in like the 1920s, if I remember correctly. 1920s or 1930s. I don't remember fully.
It was in one of the most open and least frequented parts of the broad Pacific that the packet of which I was supercargo fell a victim to the German sea raider.
Oh, damn. Wait, I want to see if there's anything else here I can... No? Nothing else to interact with? Okay. Oh, I probably could have looked out. Oh well.
The Great War was then at its very beginning, and the ocean forces of the Hun had not completely sunk to their later degradation.
This is so pretty. I'm sorry, dude. I know you're having problems right now, but I really want to look around. It's pretty.
So that our vessel was made a legitimate prize, whilst we of her crew were treated with all the fairness and consideration due us as naval prisoners.
Ooh. The Huns were Central Asian nomads who established a dominion in Europe and invaded the Roman Empire in the 5th century AD. They were known as brutal, deadly warriors and masters of quick raids who also developed powerful composite bows, lassos, and early siege weapons. During World War I, the British used the word Hun as a synonym for Germans in order to emphasize their brutality. However, the term originated when the German Emperor Wilhelm II gave a speech to his troops on 27th July 1900 before they embarked to China. Should you encounter the enemy, he will be defeated. No quarter will be given. Prisoners will not be taken. Whoever falls into your hands is forfeited. Just as 1,000 years ago, the Huns under their king Attila made a name for themselves. One that even today makes them seem mighty in history and legend. May the name German be affirmed by you in such a way in China that no Chinese will ever again dare to look cross-eyed at a German. The refusal to take prisoners was a clear breach of the laws and customs of war. Adopted during the first Hague Convention of 1899. I am so sorry about my pronunciation today. Is there anything over here too that I can... No, okay. Here we go.
So liberal, indeed, was the discipline of our captors, that 5 days after we were taken, I managed to escape alone in a small boat with water and provisions for a good length of time.
Damn, this dude's a badass. Is there anything? No? Okay.
When I finally found myself adrift and free, I had but little idea of my surroundings.
Hey, at least your surroundings are pretty.
Never a competent navigator, I could only guess vaguely by the sun and stars that I was somewhat south of the equator. Of the longitude, I knew nothing, and no island or coastline was in sight.
The ocean is very big. Wait, I want to see if there's... No? No trivia? Okay.
The weather kept fair, and for uncounted days I drifted aimlessly beneath the scorching sun, waiting either for some passing ship or to be cast on the shores of some habitable land.
I'm gonna search for trivia first up. First thing I'm going to do whenever I get the chance to is I'm going to look for trivia. In order to find these secrets, focus your eyes and look for the elder sign. That doesn't seem there is any.
But neither ship nor land appeared, and I began to despair in my solitude upon the heaving vastness of unbroken blue. The change happened whilst I slept. Its details I shall never know, for my slumber, though troubled and dream-infested, was continuous.
Oh shit. That's a lot of tentacles. Wait, I wanna look around. Okay, I guess I can't. Okay.
When at last I awoke, it was to discover myself half sucked into a slimy expanse of hellish black mire, which extended about me in monotonous undulations as far as I could see, and in which my boat lay grounded some distance away. Though one might well imagine that my first sensation would be of wonder at so prodigious and unexpected a transformation of scenery, I was in reality more horrified than astonished.
I think pretty much anyone would be. Like, this is kind of horrifying.
For there was in the air, and in the rotting soil, a sinister quality which chilled me to the very core.
Cthulhu.
The region was putrid with the carcasses of decaying fish, and of other, less describable things which I saw protruding from the nasty mud of the unending plain. Perhaps I should not hope to convey in mere words the unutterable hideousness that can dwell in absolute silence and barren immensity. There was nothing within hearing, and nothing in sight, save a vast reach of black slime. Yet the very completeness of the stillness and the homogeneity of the landscape oppressed me with a nauseating fear. The sun was blazing down from a sky which seemed to me almost black in its cloudless cruelty, as though reflecting the inky marsh beneath my feet.
This dude has a real good way of words. Oh, look! Trivia. The origins of Dagon. Dagon seems to be inspired by Fish Head, a short novel by Irvin S. Cobb about unnatural affinities between a hybrid idiot and the strange fish of an isolated lake. Supernatural horror in literature. H.P. Lovecraft. And Lovecraft's dream about a strange island emerging from the ocean and him crawling in the ooze that covered its surface. I dreamed that whole hideous crawl, and can yet feel the ooze sucking me down. In defense of Dagon, H.P. Lovecraft. Lovecraft's interest in the topic stemmed from his aversion to fish and sea smells. In his own words, I have hated fish and feared the sea, and everything connected with it since I was 2 years old. But I cannot recall what earlier experience gave me such a profound and lasting aversion to the sea and seafood. The Dweller in Darkness, Lovecraft, 1927, Donald Wandrei. Wandrei? I don't know. I'm pretty sure idiot back then meant something different. Like, not something different, but maybe had like another meaning to it. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know why I just found that funny. Nothing else to look at except the boat. I hate that sound.
As I crawled into the stranded boat, I realized that only one theory could explain my position. Through some unprecedented volcanic upheaval, a portion of the ocean floor must have been thrown to the surface, exposing regions for which innumerable millions of years had lain hidden under unfathomable watery depths. So great was the extent of the new land which had risen beneath me that I could not detect the faintest noise of the surging ocean, straining my ears as I might. Nor were there any seafowl to prey upon the dead things.
That is a little alarming. Okay, again, just want to check. Seems like there isn't as much trivia as I thought there would be. Unless, like, this is... I didn't actually check to see how long this game is, so we'll see. Alright, let's go on.
For several hours I sat thinking or brooding in the boat, which lay upon its side and afforded a slight shade as the sun moved across the heavens. As the day progressed, the ground lost some of its stickiness and seemed likely to dry sufficiently for traveling purposes in a short time.
Hopefully more pleasant sounds.
That night I slept but little, and the next day I made for myself a pack containing food and water, preparatory to an overland journey in search of the vanished sea and possible rescue.
Alright, looking around again. Holy shit, that looks ominous. That looks like very, very ominous. Alright.
On the third morning, I found the soil dry enough to walk upon with ease. The odor of the fish was maddening, but I was too much concerned with graver things to mind so slight an evil, and set out boldly for an unknown goal.
I'm sleepy, as usual. I think you know the goal. To get the fuck out of there. Again, I can't get over how, like, good this game looks. Looks so nice.
All
Oh
day
shit.
I forged steadily westward, guided by a faraway hummock which rose higher than any other elevation on the rolling desert.
But wait, where are those? Where are those things? They don't look great. Hold on, I'm trying to figure out what those things are. Oh no. I do have a bad feeling about those. I don't know what that is. They look big though. Okay, so there's a whale. Orca, I think specifically. Killer whale. Could be wrong. Let's keep going.
That night, I
What?
encamped, and on the following day still travelled toward the hummock, though that object seemed scarcely nearer than when I had first espied it.
Are you not going to question the giant worm thing here? Giant worms? I don't fucking know what this is. The horrors of the ocean. The creator of the Cthulhu mythos and the fictional underwater city of Riley, I don't know, was convinced that life could not exist at the bottom of the ocean because the water pressure would make it uninhabitable. Today we know that the darkest depths of the ocean are home to many peculiar organisms. The deepest dwelling fish we have discovered so far, the Mariana snailfish, can live about 8,000 meters, more than 26,000 feet below the ocean's surface, in never-ending darkness and at hellishly crushing pressures, hundreds of times stronger than those found at sea level. Upon glancing at the modern photos of deep-sea creatures, such as the anglerfish, the fangtooth, or the viperfish, and their truly Lovecraftian characteristics, it's hard not to find some irony in this. That's very true. I always find, like, deep-sea creatures really interesting, because, like, I feel we don't know our own oceans that well. Like, yeah, space is cool, but the ocean's also cool. Like, who knows what's down there? Legitimately, we could even find really, like, old ruins of civilizations, possibly. Like, there's been some really weird structures found. I don't know. I don't know about much of that. I'm all the way up here in space. All the way at the freaking Imbroglio space station. So I don't know too much about the oceans on Earth. But that's just from what I've read. Let's keep going. Enough of my ranting and rambling.
By the fourth evening, I attained the base of the mound, which turned out to be much higher than it had appeared from a distance.
Looks like a mountain.
An intervening valley setting it out in sharper relief from the general surface. Too weary to ascend, I slept in the shadow of the hill.
Doesn't seem very comfy.
I know not why my dreams were so wild that night, but ere the waning and fantastically gibbous moon had risen far above the eastern plain, I was awake in a cold perspiration, determined to sleep no more. Such visions as I had experienced were too much for me to endure again, and in the glow of the moon I saw how unwise I had been to travel by day. Without the glare of the parching sun, my journey would have cost me less energy.
Yeah, it probably would have been better to travel at night, but at the same time it would have been really cold. So, like, unless you got really heavy clothing on, I feel like you would have just possibly frozen. I don't fucking know, you'd probably freeze either way.
Indeed, I now felt quite able to perform the ascent which had deterred me at sunset. Picking up my pack, I started for the crest of the eminence.
Again, gonna look around. Oh. Wanna check? Okay.
I have said that the unbroken monotony of the rolling plain was a source of vague horror to me. But I think my horror was greater when I gained the summit of the mound and looked down the other side into an immeasurable pit or canyon, whose black recesses the moon had not yet soared high enough to illumine. I felt myself on the edge of the world, peering over the rim into a fathomless chaos of eternal night. Through my terror ran curious reminiscences of Paradise Lost, and of Satan's hideous climb through the unfashioned realms of darkness. As the moon climbed higher in the sky, I began to see that the slopes of the valley were not quite so perpendicular as I had imagined.
Okay, but legitimately, this looks so cool. Alright, let's
Ledges and
Don't
outcroppings
fall.
of rock afforded fairly easy footholds for a descent, whilst after a drop of only a few hundred feet, the declivity became very gradual.
Still don't fall. Falling would not be a good idea here, it seems. Like, look how far that is. Like, that would hurt. Maybe I'm just short.
Urged on by an impulse which I cannot definitely analyze, I scrambled with difficulty down the rocks and stood on the gentler slope beneath, gazing into the Stygian deeps, where no light had yet penetrated. All at once, my attention was captured by a vast and singular object on the opposite slope, which rose steeply about 100 yards ahead of me.
Sorry, dude, I'm tired. You're not boring me or anything, I'm just tired.
An object that gleamed whitely in the newly bestowed rays of the ascending moon.
Any question marks? No? Okay.
That it was merely a gigantic piece of stone, I soon assured myself.
I'm gonna actually be mad if I missed any trivia.
But I was conscious of a distinct impression that its contour and position were not altogether the work of nature.
No, it doesn't look like it.
A closer scrutiny filled me with sensations I cannot express.
Here, the people coming in saying it was aliens. Again, what's that in the distance? It's probably just a shiny rock. Alright.
For despite its enormous magnitude, and its position in an abyss which had yawned at the bottom of the sea since the world was young, I perceived beyond a doubt that the strange object was a well-shaped monolith, whose massive bulk had known the workmanship and perhaps the worship of living and thinking creatures. Dazed and frightened, yet not without a certain thrill of the scientist's or archaeologist's delight, I examined my surroundings more closely.
Good idea. Gotta have a firm grasp of your surroundings. Make sure you don't miss anything. Or, no, I don't miss anything.
The moon, now near the zenith, shone weirdly and vividly above the towering steeps that hemmed in the chasm, and revealed the fact that a far-flung body of water flowed at the bottom, winding out of sight in both directions and almost lapping my feet as I stood on the slope. Across the chasm, the wavelets washed the base of the Cyclopean monolith, on whose surface I could now trace both inscriptions and crude sculptures.
Again, just... Oh god, that rock looked like something else for a second there. Okay, let's go.
The writing was in a system of hieroglyphics.
How do we get all the way up here?
Unlike anything I'd ever seen in books. consisting for the most part of conventionalized aquatic symbols such as fishes, eels, octopi, crustaceans, mollusks, whales, and the like. Several characters obviously represented marine things which are unknown to the modern world, but whose decomposing forms I had observed on the ocean-risen plain. It was the pictorial carving, however, that did most to hold me spellbound.
Trivia. Storytelling methods. Dagon contains many themes and storytelling methods that Lovecraft developed in his later works, such as telling the story through carvings, and the Mountains of Madness, the Nameless City, journals and characters' notes, the Shadow Out of Time, the Haunter of the Dark, islands emerging from the ocean, the Call of Cthulhu, which is also a tabletop role-playing game that I kind of want to play. I don't know, maybe one day. Or fictional beings and deities based on real events and mythologies. Migo, or Migo, I don't. Migo? And the Whisperer in the Darkness. I'm gonna look up how to pronounce that later. It's also considered the origin of the popular Cthulhu mythos. Some of Lovecraft's other stories also conclude in a manner similar to Dagon, but let's get the details in order not to spoil the ending. Good idea.
Plainly visible across the intervening water on account of their enormous size were an array of bas-reliefs whose subjects would have excited the envy of a doré. I think that these things were supposed to depict men, at least a certain sort of men.
Mermen.
Though the creatures were shown disporting like fishes in the waters of some marine grotto, or paying homage at some monolithic shrine which appeared to be under the waves as well.
Looks like the one we're looking at.
Of their faces and forms I dare not speak in detail, for the mere remembrance makes me grow faint. Grotesque beyond the imagination of a Poe or a Bulwer. They were damnably human in general outline, despite webbed hands and feet, shockingly wide and flabby lips, glassy, bulging eyes, and other features less pleasant to recall. Curiously enough, they seemed to have been chiseled badly out of proportion with their scenic background. For one of the creatures was shown in the act of killing a whale, represented as but little larger than himself. I remarked, as I say, their grotesqueness and strange size, but in a moment decided that they were merely the imaginary gods of some primitive fishing or seafaring tribe, some tribe whose last descendant had perished eras before the first ancestor of the Piltdown or Neanderthal man was born.
Oh shit. Okay. Let's keep going.
Awestruck at this unexpected glimpse into a past beyond the conception of the most daring anthropologist, I stood musing whilst the moon cast queer reflections on the silent channel before me. Then, suddenly, I saw it.
What's it? What's happening to the water?
With only a slight churning to mark its rise to the surface, the thing slid into view above the dark waters.
What's the thing? I don't like how big it's getting.
Polyphemus-like and loathsome, it darted like a stupendous monster of nightmares to the monolith.
I was looking off to the side, not there.
About which it flung its gigantic scaly arms, the while it bowed its hideous head and gave vent to certain measured sounds.
Okay, could be a little kinder to it. Don't call it hideous. Might attack you just for that. Oh god. Did something just flash on screen?
I went mad then. Of my frantic ascent of the slope and cliff, and of my delirious journey back to the stranded boat, I remember little.
Oh shit. Oh, this looks cool. Okay.
I believe I sang a great deal and laughed oddly when I was unable to sing.
That's alarming.
distinct recollections of a great storm sometime after I reached the boat. At any rate, I know that I heard pearls of thunder and other tones which nature utters only in her wildest moods.
Oh shit.
When I came out of the shadows, I was in a San Francisco hospital, brought thither by the captain of the American ship which had picked up my boat in mid-ocean.
Was all that a dream?
In my delirium, I had said much, but found that my words had been given scant attention. Of any land upheaval in the Pacific, my rescuers knew nothing. Nor did I deem it necessary to insist upon a thing which I knew they could not believe.
Trivia. The journalist. Lovecraft was a prominent figure in the world of amateur journalism. In 1915, he started publishing his own journal called The Conservative, which included political and social commentary, poetry, short stories, and literary criticism written by him and other authors. Howard was a skilled wordsmith, but he also took criticisms to heart, which resulted in his decision to step away from writing poetry and concentrate on weird fiction again, for the first time since his teenage years. Dagon, published in 1917, is one of the short stories written during that period. In this example excerpt from The Conservative, the master of horror fiction explains his attitude towards warfare and the idea of world peace. Why any sane human being can believe in the possibility of universal peace is more than the conservative can fathom. Should the entire civilized world agree simultaneously to disarm, one or more nations would undoubtedly retain secret armaments, and at the proper time take advantage of their more altruistic and less astute contemporaries in a wild career of conquest against unarmed victims. No country is or ever can be above warfare, until the basic impulses of the human animal shall have miraculously changed. I did not breathe during the majority of that. Did that door just open on its own, or... No, I think it's
Once I sought
just...
out a celebrated ethnologist and amused him with peculiar questions regarding the ancient Philistine legend of Dagon, the fish god.
Trivia. Dagon. So, my pronunciation was right. Okay. Dagon was the main deity of the Philistines. Or Philistines. Worshipped throughout the Middle East as the ancient god of fertility and crops. In Hebrew, the word Dagon was a common noun for grain. The rulers of Akkad, Mesopotamia, chose him as the patron saint of their war conquests. He also appeared as the judge of the dead in an Assyrian poem, and an underworld prison warder in one of the Babylonian texts. He is often mistakenly taken for a fish god due to the wrong interpretation of his name, as in Hebrew the word dag means fish. In H.P. Lovecraft's works, Dagon is an underwater deity, ruling over the deep ones, a humanoid race with fish traits that resides in the oceans. He is worshipped by a secret cult called the Esoteric Order of Dagon. Let's go over here.
But soon perceiving that he was hopelessly conventional, I did not press my inquiries.
Unconventional methods? Oh. Trivia. Alright, let me take a breath. August Derleth and the Cthulhu Mythos. August Derleth was an American writer and anthologist. He also befriended Lovecraft and published many of his works through his company, Arkham House. Although he greatly contributed to the popularization of the author's works after his death, he is surrounded by numerous controversies. One of his most questionable decisions involved introducing the good versus evil doctrine. Derleth was a devout Catholic to the Cthulhu mythos, which contrasted with Lovecraft's view of the world and his approach to cosmic horror. As a result, the author's works are often misunderstood and misrepresented in today's culture. It is also worth noting that Lovecraft was never really interested in creating a mythology. The term Cthulhu mythos was coined by Derleth after the author left the mortal plane. Damn. Derleth just kind of took over. Sounds like. Let's go over here now. Honestly, I really love the aesthetics. Making sure there's no more. Okay. So I guess we just go over here now.
It is at night, especially when the moon is gibbous and waning, that I see the thing. I tried morphine, but the drug has given only transient surcease, and has drawn me into its clutches as a hopeless slave.
It is very addictive.
So now I am to end it all, having written a full account for the information or the contemptuous amusement of my fellow men.
I don't see why it would be amusing. It's kind of scary. Lovecraft on tobacco and alcohol. Lovecraft hated tobacco. Same. Even though he used to smoke when he was 12, in order to look and feel like an adult. In his correspondence with friend Reinhard Kleiner, he claims that he quit as soon as he started wearing long pants. He also had a very strong opinion about alcohol, as evidenced by his letter to Zelia Brown, dated 13th February 1928. As for the matter of drinking, I've never tasted intoxicating liquor, and never intend to. Having a strong aesthetic disgust at anything which blunts or coarsens the delicate natural equipoise of the evolved human intellect and imagination. Did people by then really talk all that fancy? I don't know. I can't imagine, like, if I lived back then, I can't imagine ever saying the word equipoise. At least not in everyday conversation. Or in letters, or I don't know. Let me stop rambling. Drinking excited my personal repugnance. Hence, I don't drink. Let the herd do what they will. I am rather in favor of prohibition. The prohibition of any one antisocial force as well as of any other. Source: The Spirit of Revision. Lovecraft's letters to Zelia Brown, Reed Bishop, H.P. Lovecraft, Sean Brandy, and Andrew Lehman. St. Joshi. Pronunciation at its finest. Alright. Here we go. Guessing that's the morphine.
Often I ask myself if it could not all have been a pure phantasm, a mere freak of fever, as I lay sun-stricken and raving in the open boat after my escape from the German man of war.
It is possible. You do see some really weird things. Okay, my voice cracked.
This I ask myself, but ever does there come before me a hideously vivid vision in reply. I cannot think of the deep sea without shuddering at the nameless things that may at this very moment be crawling and floundering on its slimy bed,
Why are we
worshipping
flying?
ancient stone idols and carving their own detestable likenesses on submarine obelisks of water-soaked granite. I dream of a day when they may rise above the billows to drag down into their reeking talons the remnants of puny, war-exhausted mankind. Of a day when the land shall sink and the dark ocean shall ascend amidst universal pandemonium.
Well, that's not horrifying. Alright, let's keep going. It's the Statue of Liberty. Oh.
The end is near.
I'm trying to figure out what that sound is. I think it's coming from outside that door.
I hear a noise at the door.
Yeah, I was right.
Immense slippery body lumbering against it.
Wait, I want to see if there's... I feel like I'm about to die. I want to see if there's anything else. There isn't. Okay, let's go.
It shall not find me.
Oh. Yes, it shall.
God, that hand!
I don't like that.
The window! The window!
Oh, shit. Ow. We hope you enjoyed immersing yourself in our little pool of cosmic horror. We would appreciate it if you took a moment to rate Dagon and check out our other games and DLCs. Hell yeah, got to check that out later on when my internet's back on. Hopefully soon. I really hope this video didn't have too many technical difficulties. If it did, I'm gonna be really sad. But let's go back to the main screen and see if I got all the trivia. I think I did, but I don't know. Kinda like this loading screen though. I wanna know who did the art. Like, I'm really curious about that. Alright, well, I'm probably gonna skip to when this is done loading up the main screen. Oh, well, never mind. Alright, let's check. No, I didn't get all the trivia. Oh my god, I missed so much. Sorry about that. Oh no. I was trying really hard too. Alright. I'll just go back later and see if I can find all the trivia. But thank you guys for playing. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys liked the video. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. And yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
美しい瞳がゆっくりと開く名前呼べば微笑んでくれたねまどろな世界に柔らかな日差し輝く君が愛おしい